Hello everyone, this is Diane, and I'm getting to work on my Stashistry video. The card that I had pulled out for Stashistry the last time was digital journal cards, and I have a ton of already printed digital cards, small ones, medium-sized ones, and big ones. So I thought this is going to be great. It was a while ago that I pulled that. I've just been pretty much constantly working on journals, so I'm going to take a little time to do a little more organizing and also work on just making ephemera, just for fun, not for any specific project. So this is a journal that I received as a gift from one of my viewers. And there is no name inside it, and I received it several years ago, and I don't remember. And I feel so bad that I don't remember who sent this journal to me. So if it was you, please tell me. It's got some slow stitching added to the pieced fabrics. It's a beautiful journal. And this is the one that I got out to use. In fact, I started writing in it on October 9th. And then as I mentioned in a previous video, I just have not felt like journaling. I've been feeling down. But I've been keeping a daily, just a little paragraph of what I did that day. So I think I'll be starting to write in it pretty soon and catch up with all those things. But the reason I'm bringing this to your attention is because there was some ephemera in here that I wanted to make. There's some pretty simple stuff like I like to do, but beautiful. So I'm going to show you some of that ephemera that was in there and a few pieces that I did. And I'm going to work on pieces, maybe some on camera today, I'm not sure, but most of it I'll do off camera. And because it's going to be, I hope it's going to be a nice, what do you call it when you make a whole bunch? No, not stash buster. Mass make. So I want to make a whole bunch. And I can't do all that on camera. So then I will add to this video and just show you what I made. So let me just show you what some of the pieces are. That one. All right, I pulled a few out, and I will not remember where they came from. That's one I made. But it doesn't matter. I'll be able to just put them back wherever I want to. And she put a lot of pieces of ephemera in this journal. So some of them are just digital pieces that are sewn to coffee dyed paper. That's it. And this one is that, but she added a piece of lace, and then this went into a side pocket. So what I would do is make a bunch like this, so just sew them to paper, and then when I'm ready to use them, I could add a piece of lace at the top or on the side here or here, depending on what pocket I wanted to put them in. And I can leave them plain, or I can add some lace or some sort of a tab if I want to. Here's another, oh, it's the same picture, isn't it? Just a little one. And there are a lot of pieces of ephemera like this in the journal. And then she did some like this. This is a digital, and this is a vintage book page, the text. And she sewed a digital on top of it. And it was all put onto coffee dyed paper. So there's that one, and this size, and where'd the little one go? I don't see it. Maybe I already put it back in the book. Well, there was a smaller one too that had the same kind of thing going on. Digital page. The torn digital page on top of a book page, and then this sewn on top, and then all of them are sewn to a coffee dyed paper. This is a similar concept. This is a digital paper, and then this little piece of a music page, just as a little embellishment, and a digital sewn to that, and a trim tag topper. Oh, here's the little one I was looking for. And then this is a tag that she made out of coffee dyed, a heavier coffee dyed paper. And this looks like it might have been printed on there, because I think there's a reinforcement, but I think it's printed on. And then she glued this lace on it. But I was thinking I could get out some of my stamps and make some coffee dyed tags like that. And then this one is a booklet, just a digital sewn to a coffee dyed colored paper, and a little stack of papers just stitched down there, and a little crochet at the top. So some of them I started on and some of them I haven't yet. So let's start with these that are just images sewn onto coffee dyed paper. I went to town on this the other day. These are all papers that I have, or digitals that I have glued just in the center, to coffee dyed paper. Or yeah. So this one I'm going to trim. This was just a small digital. So I glued it down to this coffee dyed paper. It's printed paper. So I glued it down to the printed side so that the unprinted side will be available for journaling on. So then I just trim it off, and then I'll stitch around it, and it'll be all set to go into a pocket. So I'm not going to flip through all of these, but you can see I have a lot of sewing to do. None of these have been sewn. They're just glued. Looks like they're all upside down. Lots of different styles, lots of different sizes. Lots of fun. So I had a lot of fun just pulling out, I think it's this. This bag was full of coffee dyed papers like this, and I just started gluing. And then just today I sewed 5 of them. I just haven't had much time today. I had a visiting day with one of my sisters and my parents, so I did do 5 of them. So these are just sewn, you know, I just glued them and then sewed them. This is a copy of, I don't remember if it's an envelope or just a bill, like a blank bill for a creamery. I own that piece of ephemera. These are digitals, and this. So that's a start, and now I have to sew all the rest of these. But I figure I'll just sew, you know, 5 to 10 at a time whenever I go to my sewing machine. Okay, so that's very basic and simple. I was going to demonstrate that, but I think you can get the gist of that. I just took my scrap and found a piece of ephemera that would fit on there. Try to take up as much of the space as I could, like that. Glue it down in the center and then trim around it, and then I will sew around it. This one's on cardstock, but I might as well turn that into a journal card like this. Tomorrow I'll have Teddy here, so hopefully I can work on this ephemera while he's in school, doing his charter school. There's another one to add to the pile. Okay, now I did one of these, and one of the samples that I had, she sewed a little bit of lace at the top. I guess I don't have that. I guess I put it back in the book, but that's what I did here. I took this pretty little Mrs. Coggs image and a page from a book, a scrap of, no, this is the one she made. I didn't make this one. I used a similar image. Yeah, this is hers, because this is the same digital paper here. And it has the lace at the top, and there's a bigger one. So what did I do? I did this one, this little girl with the tulips. And I looked for a book page that had small printing. So I thought it would look better to have a small text behind. And this is, I pulled out some digitals that I printed, that I already had printed in my stash, and looked for a small pattern. This is a bigger pattern, but it's only 2 colors and some shading. So I thought that would be fine. But I didn't want anything with a big pattern, so small patterns like these. So those are all stripes. And that gingham. That floral. I just didn't have a lot of florals already printed. And I didn't want to print. So those are the papers I pulled. And I used this stripe. And this is the back. This is the coffee dyed paper I used. I loved how grungy that looked. So I'm going to do a couple more of these. This is like the smaller one that I showed you. I had these little tall, thin ephemera pieces, digital pieces. So let me start from scratch. All right. This is what I'm going to use as the digital background because it matches the green on the leaves. This is my digital piece. And this is my book page. So I cut the book page to the size I wanted. And I cut this to the same size, but I'm going to tear it. So just start at the bottom and give it a tear. And that will be glued down. I think I'll ink the edge of this. Then I would take it to the sewing machine and sew this piece on. And after I do that, I would adhere this to the back, coffee dyed paper, and sew around it again. But I want this sewn down before I put this on, so I'm not sewing through the back of that. So let me go to my machine and just sew this on, and I'll be right back. Okay, I sewed that on, and I wanted to say something because I didn't think to sew this on before I sewed it to the coffee dyed paper. So I just used a straight stitch around this card and then glued it down. But the creator of this journal used a zigzag stitch, and so that is stitching it to the background. It goes back and forth from the card to the background. So I did this one in a zigzag stitch. I like the look of that. So you could either just do a straight stitch and then glue it, or do the zigzag and then glue it to the background, or don't do any stitching at all. Nothing says you have to do the stitching. So now I can adhere it to my background. I'm not adhering it permanently. I'm putting on a glue stick in the middle. And glue stick, you know, might not make it stick for forever. So I don't mind using the glue stick when I know I'm going to sew it down. So then I will sew all the way around, and then I will add, if I want to, I'll add a little piece of lace. Maybe on these small ones I won't. Let me see what she did on her small one. Nope. My small one is a little bit bigger because this piece is taller than this piece. And I wanted room at the top and the bottom. So I'll just sew around that and it'll be done. I demonstrated it on this one because this glue is still wet. But I'm going to tack this down, and then when I do my sewing off the video, I will sew that all the way around, and then maybe I don't have a coffee dyed paper ready for this one yet. So that will be sewn to coffee dyed paper. So there are those, and then I have this one. This is from Emma, the book Emma, you know, the Jane Austen story. So I will tear this paper. I have a blue stripe. I liked the blue with this image. Looks like I have to trim just a teeny tiny sliver off of this. Let's ink it first. I don't know what time it is, maybe 5:30, but it gets dark early now, and my sister left just a little bit after 5, so this was my first chance to get in here and make a video. Yep, so then after this glue dries, I can sew this all the way around, but I can tack it in the middle. And then I have this coffee dyed piece. It got a little overcooked in the oven. This one did, but it was on a rack that had this little diamond pattern on it. And that will get sewn to the back. And I think I will put a little lace on the top of that one. And then after I get all of this cool ephemera done, I will show them to you. Hopefully at the end of this video. Okay, so that's all I'm doing for that style. Then the other one where she just did a little bit, I didn't get out any music paper. I'm just using book pages. And I have 2 tags that I was doing with this. So this one is cardstock. I don't need to back it with anything. So I just rubbed a little ink on that. And I'll just glue this down and then sew this down, but I'll do that not on camera. Hopefully I'll get to work on these things tomorrow. I have something extra on my calendar every day this week. So I think it's a good week to not get started on a journal. Although I think I know what journal I'm going to do next. Then I will just sew around the edge, and I think I might sew around the edge of this even though I'm not sewing it to anything, and add a little piece of trim. And the same thing here. Now this one is just paper, so I will sew that to coffee dyed paper. And I might have to just take a full sheet of paper because I used up so much of my coffee dyed scraps. I think I wanted this flourish at the bottom. that's a pretty simple tag. This is a lined paper. I'm not going to glue this down at all yet because I have to glue around that, or sew around that piece, but I'll just cut this. Okay. Takes care of that one. This one, I'll just get out some stamps and do that one day. I don't know if I'll get to that tomorrow or not. Getting out a bunch of stamps is an effort because I make a mess. I have them all over and then have to put them all away, clean them up and put them all away. So I don't know if I'll do that while Teddy's here. But I think I would like to make this little booklet with this bunny digital piece. So I need a piece of copy dyed paper that you can look at. I want both sides to be able to be visible, so not a printed scrap like the other ones. So there's that. And I could put a colored piece in there. All right, so it needs to be, I think that is perfect. There's a little space here, so I want to do that. So I'll just fold this in half. And cut this to the width of my card. Tack it on for now. So I will sew that on, and as long as if I have the piece open and I sew it on, and then I can sew a piece of lace to the top if it's open so that I'm not sewing it closed, I will do that. And then let's see, she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces, and it looks like 2 of them are folded and this is just stuck in the middle, but I don't know if I have pieces big enough to fold. I guess, yeah, I could fold this one. Okay, there's that. Yeah, I guess they're big enough to fold. They don't all have to be the same length. or width. Oh, I should have made one more. This was skinny. I should have made this one wider. Well, I still can. I still have this piece. And then I'll just cut this one and not fold it, just to show you what she did with hers. So I have these two folded ones, and then in the middle, she just had one loose piece like that. And then she put it in here and sewed right across it. Now, normally if I want to make a booklet, I have folded pieces and sew through here. But I like that she made it so it's like a tablet instead of a notebook. Let me show you. So it's zigzagged across the top there. And this is the coffee dyed piece folded, and then the green coffee dyed piece, and then this extra piece stuck in the middle. Pretty fun, huh? You can see where she zigzagged it through there. So this will be a really fun little booklet to include into a journal sometime. And I think that's all I had prepared to do, but I've got lots more journaling cards printed that I can work on. And I'm excited to actually get to use some of these things. I started out by just looking for the ones that were printed on paper. But then I started pulling out some that are printed on cardstock because I have so many and I need to really get them started so I'll have a box. Hopefully I'll find a place to put it. A box with this kind of stuff all ready to go into a journal. I know I have a box of ephemera, of handmade ephemera, but it's got tags and books and pockets and all kinds of stuff. So if I just had something that I did with these digital journal cards, so I can just grab that box and put them in a journal. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and I will be back. Let me see. It's at 31 minutes right now, and I'll cut some of it out probably. Yeah, when I went to the sewing machine, I'll cut that out. So I should have time to show you. After I have time to make more stuff, I'll come back and show you what I made. Well, it is the next day, and I have been working all day on this ephemera in between picking Teddy up and taking him home and giving him breakfast and lunch and all that stuff. So I've got a lot done. I had 4 different types of ephemera, and as you know, if you watch from the beginning of this video, which I assume you did, and I wanted to make, as a mess making project, I wanted to make 10 of each, at least 10 of each. So I did 10 of each of these that took a little more time, and then I showed you the whole stack of ones that were the simple ones. Let's start with them. I did not finish these. I will be sewing more of those together, but on the top of the pile I have samples of what she made. So they're just sewn to coffee dyed paper very simply, and this one has a little lace sewn on the edge. Those are hers. So I'm not going to go through the whole stack, but I'll show you the ones that I finished. And I won't show you the backs. They're just sewn to coffee dyed paper. Some of them have some trims. I had this little embroidered, just a little piece left over. I just folded it over and did zigzag stitches on the sides too, because it's very ravelly, and I just thought that looked elegant to go with that, so I added that to it. And these are just sewn together. Many of these are cards that antique cards that I found in scrapbooks at the flea market. This one's a Mrs. Coggs, but a lot of these are either cards that I had, or this was from an old magazine that I had. And I believe this was a drawing. Oh, I'm not sure where that came from. I know somebody gave me a drawing, a hand-done drawing that they had found, but I don't remember if this is it. And it would have been smaller. It was bigger than this, so I may have, I don't know. I don't know if that's the one. And then all of these I still have to sew, and it's almost 50 right here, almost 50 of them. So that'll be, I'll just work on that, maybe get a few done every day when I come in here to work. Next we had this long tag. I did make some in shorter sizes too. And it's a digital piece, digital background, a piece of old music or book, and a digital image with a little bit of crocheted trim. That's how she made it. And again, it's sewn to coffee dyed paper. I used scrapbook paper in addition to some digitally printed papers. And I put a digital tag that looks masculine because of that image. This is a digital background. All of the images that I used in all of these projects are digital because I wanted to use up a bunch of digitals, and it worked. I used up 30 for these, and then at least 60 for these. This one, I mentioned that I wasn't going to sew it to coffee dyed paper, which I didn't because it's cardstock, so I just kind of inked around it. But I forgot and glued that down without sewing around it, so I didn't want to have stitching on the back, so there's no sewing on that one. This one, I had this wide piece of blue lace, and I just folded it over and thought it looked pretty. And this is a William Morris design on the background of that. An old piece of crochet, and another old piece of crochet. And then these are the ones that were the book page. The book page is cut to this size, and then I tore the digital piece, and this is one she made. Sew the piece on the image and then add lace, but they don't all have lace. These are 3 that she did. So 3 different sizes, 1 with lace, 2 without. And these are the ones I made. And when I go to put them in a book, I can always add lace. I could add a little embellishment if I wanted to, but they are complete the way they are. And I know I did this one on earlier in the video. I did it yesterday. And one more batch, and this was the little booklet. This is the one she made, And these are the ones I made. I did that one earlier in the video. And these are all digitals. So I have various sizes. I cut the book, of course, to match the size. So I'm not going to flip into the inside, but they are all made the same as the first one that I did, with the same number of pages. I thought these were fun with the digital Viewmaster reels. This is a copy of a postcard, a little miniature postcard that I found at the flea market, and that's a digital label. So 10 of each of these, and I didn't count these. I know there's almost 50 that aren't done, and at least 10 that are done, more than 10 that are done, because I did 10 today. So that's a lot, and I still had this. This was also in the journal, if you remember. So I might do another session where I make some tags and stamp. So what would you think about that? Would you be interested in seeing that? So I hope that I don't make the video too long with adding this part on. I don't think I will. This was kind of short. But I've been working all day on this, you know. But I'm very pleased with all of this fun ephemera that I have to now put in journals. I hope that you're inspired. And again, if you were the one that made this journal for me, please, please, please let me know. And I will see you in the next video. Have a creative day. Bye.